defeat. Maybe it's time for an Evercade retreat.
Hello and welcome to the Evercade Retreat. My name is Gene Jake and today I'm just discussing some thoughts I have following seeing a post by Toxo Something Less Boring on the Evercade Hangouts. Essentially he was at the Bristol Video Games Expo and was talking to someone from Blaze, maybe Sean, I don't know, and there were a few tidbits came out. Essentially one is that Game of the Month would be taking a break this year or wouldn't be happening in 2025 and possibly there wouldn't be an Indie Heroes next year and maybe it'd be replaced by another service. There were other things there, but again I don't really want to go too much into those. Seemed more just sort of ideas and speculation about things, whereas this is a bit more direct. Although I'm speculating and there is some speculation from Toxo. The comment about there being no Indie Heroes in 2026 I believe was Toxo speculation. About Game of the Month being replaced by another service I have no idea about. Anyway, Game of the Month ending or not happening this year, mixed feelings about that. On one hand, I do feel that it had been feeling a bit stale last year. It had lost some of its luster. When it came to the Indie Heroes carts, I've got to admit I'm looking forward to the release of Indie Heroes 4 less than I might because I have already played most of the games on it. And there's only two new games that weren't Game of the Month. So it's taken some of the sparkle off that collection for me. So we've had a lot of games from the same developers and Indie Heroes as a whole has been feeling a little bit tired. On the flip side, I did think it was always really good getting a game of the month and having a new talking point, especially between cart releases. It was just something else, like a regular feature for the Evercade that would come up, which I thought was really good. A talking point to keep the community going and something to keep interest in, especially if you've got carts which aren't so of interest to you. It's something else to check out. But of course there is talk of some other service replacing it. But what would that be? Demo of the month? Game of the quarter? Maybe it would go to being every other month. So that's where the Indie Heroes not happening comment from Toxo comes in, because maybe there will be an Indie Heroes. There was also a mention somewhere that someone suggested that Home Computer Heroes 2 might take the place of Indie Heroes 5, and effectively Game of the Month would be Home Computer Heroes games. Personally, I'd be bang up for that because there are lots of home computer or home brews and indie games that I would love to see on the Evercade. I really liked Home Computer Heroes, the first one, so hopefully a second one would be as good. Maybe it'd have more games on it, maybe not. But what else could take the place of Game of the Month, or at least Game of the Month as it has been? Demo of the Month? What about if it continued Game of the Month or they rebrand it or whatever, but instead of being just Indie Heroes games, maybe they have games of various different carts that are coming out in the coming year. I mean, it would solve the problem of the Indie Heroes carts basically being spoiled a bit before their release, but also it'd serve as a promotion for other collections. For example, with all the SNK and Neo Geo stuff, what if they announced that the first Neo Geo kart was coming out in July, but from the 5th of June or whatever, for the month running up to the kart's release, you'd be able to play, Art of Fighting for free on your Evercade. And that would be pretty cool. And again, a month later it might be, some game off of Sunsoft Collection 3, or maybe you'd be able to play Alien Breed 3D for free in the month running up to the release of Team 17 Collection 2. Obviously I'm speculating wildly about what might be coming out because I haven't a clue what's coming beyond what's officially announced. But I do think it would be a good promotional tool, so maybe they'll do something like that. But again, licensing for putting these games out free while they're selling the cart could be problematic. So it could potentially be a good way of selling people who are on the fence about specific carts. Of course, at this point, nothing's official. They haven't made an announcement, so we'll find out in due course, I suppose. In some ways I'd understand if Game of the Month does go away, aside from the reasons listed, but from Blaze's point of view, they're a small team, so if they're not testing updates where they're putting the Game of the Month on the updates and things, then they can spend that time focused on other things, maybe focusing on getting some games fixed, Ultimate Tennis, Rally Bike, Cybernoid 2, some of the ones that we've got which have been broken by updates or are problematic in some shape or form, which is one of the other things that was mentioned in Toxo's post, how there is R&D required for fixing games which aren't working properly. So not doing Game of the Month would potentially leave them more time for fixing that sort of thing. Another bit they did mention was the possibility of a subscription service. Now I would assume this is more like a cart subscription service, like you'd pay a monthly fee and effectively get like the 12 carts throughout the year, although maybe it'd be a bit skew if there's extras. And there was talk of what sort of extra incentives they could offer. So, would it be a monthly fee, just directly pay for your carts, or would it be more than that and you'd get some extras? Who knows? Understanding of the comment there was that it's something that they've been thinking about but haven't really worked out the ins and outs of. So there's no answers beyond speculation. So any more to say on that? I don't know. I mean, I'm a full set and I do order every cart from Funstock. If it was a monthly fee and it worked out good value, then yeah, I'd be up for that. That's not really an issue. It would spread the cost a bit. But again, because of the inconsistency of the cart releases, will it be problematic? But what if it's not that? What if what they actually meant was a subscription service in place of Game of the Month? What if it's you pay a monthly fee and you would get so many games like in a digital thing? Would that? Oh, I don't know. I'd hope it's not that, because it's sort of setting a precedent. It's building something else that isn't really what Evercade's about. But to be perfectly honest, I'm not sure that Evercade is big enough for them to warrant the amount of effort that would probably take. I mean, I'm no expert, I don't work on these side of things, but when you look at something like the Nintendo Online or Nintendo Switch Online and you get so many free games to play or whatever it is, the retro games, I don't think Evercade really has the numbers to do that sort of thing. But again, I've no idea of the actual numbers involved and the amount of work involved, so maybe it is possible. I really don't know. Beyond that, it does seem a bit counter to the ethos of Evercade as a whole. So, again, we shall see. But I don't think that'll be the case. And I really hope it's not. But, if it came about, would I be up for it? I don't know. But, yeah, at the end of the day, I think I've discussed most of the points that were mentioned in Toxo's post. And my general thoughts on it is, I'm not sad that Game of the Month is potentially not going to be about, or at least is going to be changed. I've been hoping for that to some degree. I do hope there are further Indie Heroes collections, but maybe we'd see sort of a break off from what we've already had. And we had Donut Dodo on an earlier collection. Pixel Games have done other games. Maybe we'd see a Pixel Games collection. Or at some point in the future, when low-tech games have more games under the belt, perhaps we'd get a low-tech collection. But regardless of all my speculation and thoughts, at the end of the day, I imagine because this has sort of leaked out of the Bristol Video Games Expo, I'd imagine there will be a full announcement detailing some of this information fairly soon. And another thing that did come out in that post from Toxo is that at the end of the month would be the SNK games would be announced, I'm guessing, in the showcase they've talked about, which again, it's nothing unexpected, and that's something we have to look forward to in a few weeks. I think that's been enough rambling. Now I've just got to stop, edit some footage together to put to my ramblings. I'll try and make it relevant to what I'm talking about. But anyway, that's it for today, and I'll see you in the next video, which will probably be my Commodore 64 review and ranking.